Yes, I think it's interesting, isn't it, that this call has come at a time when President Trump's tone about action against the DPRK has got somewhat more strident than it has done. Perhaps the fate of Otto Warmbier, who you remember was that American student who died shortly after being released from North Korea. He'd been held prisoner there. That certainly got people here in the US to get more angry about what was happening in North Korea. And President Trump seems to be losing patience. In fact, he said here in Washington, D.C. on Friday when he was giving a press conference with Prime Minister Moon of South Korea that his patience was over with the North Korean regime. And then we have this phone call with Xi Jinping of China just now, which suggests that he is perhaps trying to put a little bit more pressure on Beijing to do more. He believes, Donald Trump believes, that Beijing could do more to put pressure on North Korea to rein in their nuclear ambitions somewhat. So we imagine that could have been part of the phone call. Certainly the White House statement that we have been given says that President Trump raised what he described as the growing threat posed by North Korea's nuclear and ballistic missile program. So certainly that did dominate the conversation. And as you say, they will meet face to face at the end of the week in Germany. And no doubt this will be top of the agenda again.
Well, apart from the DPRK issue, bilateral trade is another priority in bilateral relations indeed, and the White House says U.S. President Donald Trump has reiterated to President Xi his determination to seek more balanced trade relations with America's trading partners. What does that mean? Are we going to see China and U.S. enjoying a more smooth trade ties or even a new type of cooperation?
Well, perhaps certainly Donald Trump has in recent days been a little bit more clear about how he feels that there is a trade deficit between China and the US that he would like to see closed. There has been mention perhaps of putting tariffs on steel imports into the United States from China. These kind of veiled threats, perhaps. Again, perhaps one of his techniques, if you like, for trying to put some pressure on Beijing to do more in North Korea. He has been, since the two leaders met in April here in the United States, there seemed to be a good relationship between them, and they seem to be a very positive vibe, if you like. Whereas in recent days, we've seen the US take a few more kind of anti-China steps, things like placing some sanctions on a bank and two individuals, and this trade deal with Taiwan, which has angered Beijing, and perhaps this talk of potential import taxes on steel into the United States is another way that Donald Trump is trying to say to Beijing, look, I want you to do more with regard to North Korea. But there will be far more discussions between both those leaders and other Asian leaders when they all get together in Germany at the end of the week for the G20.